Every single year, billions of tons of waste are produced globally. Yet, in many regions, there is no safe way to manage it. Waste is either burned or buried, in turn releasing toxic emissions and greenhouse gases into our fragile Earth. At the same time, these exact communities face unreliable energy access, where waste and energy are treated as separate problems. But they shouldn't be. And we are Solarium. Before we get started with our product, we'd like to share our findings, which motivated us to develop our research. In Indonesia, one of the largest landfills in the world is Bantar Gebang. Though it's not just a landfill, it's where thousands of people are forced to live and work. Families survive by sorting waste by hand, breathing toxic fumes from the decomposing trash in the burning landfill. Children growing up to forever being surrounded by waste, not because they choose to, but because there is no other alternative. According to the World Bank, low-income countries experience 90% of their municipal waste being mismanaged. Even in lower middle and upper middle income regions where over 80% of waste fails to be safely processed. The exception is only when high-income countries where they consistently fall below this threshold. But they even average over 70% of mismanagement when systems break down. This is not a technology gap, but is an infrastructure gap.
Acknowledging this, our mission is simple: to turn mismanaged waste into reliable energy and useful material outputs where conventional infrastructure is short. This mission comes through life, through PyroLoop, our modular, decentralized waste-to-energy system. PyroLoop converts mixed waste into power, heat, and more useful materials through thermochemical processes in which are designed to operate reliably.
This is a system framework that we employ. From the intake chute, it goes from the scrubber and then to the AI detector. This is where the trash gets separated, and then it gets dried, and of course it gets read. That's where then it leads to the processing inside the process chamber. The feedstock enters a sealed vacuum chamber. Oxygen is removed and nitrogen is injected. And knife gates throughout the system ensure airtight isolation, guaranteeing an oxygen-free environment. Inside the process chamber, fast process is driven primarily by our foldable parabolic solar concentrator, which focuses solar energy, which is directed into the reactor. Molten salt thermal storage preserves heat, while sun gas-powered rod heater provides auxiliary heating when needed. The produced gas passes through a cyclone heater to separate char, then a wet scrubber that captures hydrochloric acid. It then enters a condenser where bio-oil is collected, and finally an activated carbon bed, ensuring only pure syngas remains. About 15% of the syngas powers a solid oxide fuel cell.
Once a cycle finishes, system data is logged to the app, giving operators instant visibility into performance, safety, and capacity. The essence of this simulation is that it focuses on temperature behavior inside the pyrolysis chamber. Pyrolysis isn't aimed at reaching peak temperatures, but towards maintaining a stable thermal environment where reactions can proceed predictably. If the chamber develops cold zones, feedstocks under-react. If hotspots dominate, you get degradation and uncontrolled cracking. Thus, with this model, it shows that based off of the radial temperature gradient, it stays within a controlled operating temperature across the chamber cross-section. Heat is concentrated where reactions occur, while the outer regions remain cooler, protecting the structure and improving efficiency. Now, waste also needs time, especially the right amount of time to travel inside the reactor. The second simulation here uses a residence time proxy, a simplified way of estimating how long material remains in the active reaction zone based on flow length and viscosity. Instead of a single value, there is a distribution. This matters because real waste systems are never perfectly uniform. This tells us that there are minimal extremes, meaning very little waste exits too early or linger too long, promoting flow. Thus, this confirms that PyroLoop's internal flow geometry promotes controlled exposure and not random sporadic yields. By having these simulations, it answers two fundamental questions. Is the reactor hot enough? And does the waste travel around long enough to matter? PyroLoop's answer is yes.
Surplus monetizes byproducts, leasing removes upfront costs, and NGO partners unlock grants and credibility, recreating the data needed for climate and carbon funding. We operate in a fast-growing $100 billion market. Key customers include off-grid communities, disaster zones, municipalities, and NGOs. Government procurements, NGO channels, and community leasing mean we scale without relying on one buyer. Unlike centralized systems, PyroLoop is modular, scalable, and deployable wherever waste exists, thus entering the innovative mass market. Pilot unit cost is about $22,000, primarily the pyrolysis core plus AI sorting, assembly, and labor. Costs drop as production scales. As for the pricing, unit price is at $29,500, or lease for roughly $1,650 to $1,750 per month with an 18-month payoff, including surplus support. Revenue comes from sales, leasing, and recurring surplus services, with strong margins and improving efficiency as we scale.